it just never really put it together. I watched a lot of Adrian Martinez, and he just didn't quite have that. Put the ball there. Hold on to the ball here. Prevent from throwing an interception there. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football, back at it again. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA college football and see a lot of college football videos as well, just subscribe to my channel right now. Go ahead and click that red subscribe button. It's free to you. I also do some pro football and some Madden videos as well. Like I said, quest for 1K. We just got over 600, okay? We're doing our best, okay? Click that subscribe button, okay? Stay in touch with me all the time. Get my comments, everything like that. I appreciate all that stuff. Also, be sure to like the video. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, we are 1 day away from the start of the 2022 college football season. There is one game very, very early in the day especially for me. I'm out in the mountain time zone, but there's a game very, very early. In fact, I'm going to be watching it from a bar. The Nebraska Cornhuskers will be playing the Northwestern Wildcats in Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. It is going to be awesome. I want to talk about one of those teams in particular. Now, I had mentioned before, I had been on Golden Blue Dude's channel. And again, for anybody who doesn't know Golden Blue Dude, first of all, I'd be shocked if you know who I am and you don't know who Golden Blue Dude is. But anyways, go and find him, Gold and Blue Dude. He's awesome. West Virginia guy, does a great job out there with his channel. We were talking, and I basically told him at the end of my time with him, he was like, what's your final word? And I was like, I really want the Nebraska Cornhuskers to be good again. The NFL is better when your Raiders are good. The NFL is better when the Cowboys are good, partially because a lot of people hate them. The league is just that much more interesting in that perspective. I also feel the same way about Nebraska. Really, really nice people, okay? Been out there, been to Lincoln, watched Ohio State play, Nebraska. It was not a close game. They had Justin Fields, they had Chase Young. It was not a close game. If they can return to those glory days, I'm telling you, college football as a whole will be much, much bigger and much, much better off. I want to look and see, though, and check out this current Nebraska team. I think they've got a chance. They've got a chance here. They're going to have to go through some transition here. I'm going to discuss those things right now. Let's get into their preview of their team right now. So here we are on fansided.com, the 2022 season prediction preview awards, 2022 bowl game and all. Basically saying here, despite never winning more than 5 games since leaving UCF once his alma mater came calling, Frost should have his best team in Lincoln to date. Nebraska may have gone 3-9, 1-8 in Big Ten play a season ago, but the Cornhuskers never lost by more than 9 points in any of their 9 defeats. And again, I love my boy Will Compton, former Nebraska grad. He said that they were the greatest 3-9 team of all time. That's true. I do believe that actually is true. The greatest 3-9 team of all time. It's not really saying much. But they, again, you see that. This is why with a few lucky bounces, this team could go 6-6, possibly be a win or two better than that. So for FanSided's preseason top 50 rankings, they are in at number 50. So again, the big thing they have to go over right now, again, they lose Cam Jurgens, Cam Taylor-Britt, they lose Samori Toure, they lose a couple of those guys right now, and then they lose Adrian Martinez. He's going to play quarterback at Kansas State. So these were his numbers from last year. And again, the former high-profile recruit from Fresno, California comes over. This is his final season. All right, and he just never really, if you see here, he never really had a really, really dynamic game. You could argue maybe this Michigan game, this was a close game, dude. They had them at home. They could have so won that game. But, rushing touchdown, 40 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns, 290 passing, but a key fumble late in the game. It was just so critical. But you see the fact they lose 5 in a row here. They lose to Michigan State in overtime. Should have had that one. They lost to Oklahoma. They lost to Illinois week 1, which was just bad. I had a friend who's an Illinois fan, which basically means he doesn't even like Illinois, and they still lost that game. It just never really put it together. I watched a lot of Adrian Martinez, and he just didn't quite have that. Put the ball there. Hold on to the ball here. Prevent from throwing an interception there. He had a lot of turnovers in his time with Nebraska. So coming down here, we see the fact that they're actually adding somebody else. So former quarterback with the Texas Longhorns come over. Casey Thompson was primarily the starter, split some time with Hudson Card. Hudson Card started the year. He kind of went away, and then Scott Thompson went in, had a couple really, really explosive games. Whenever he struggled, they would put Hudson Card back in the game. Anytime, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have 0. Let's check out your boy, Casey Thompson. So Casey Thompson, and he's had pretty decent numbers here. Now remember, I told you before that he didn't really play early on in the season. So you see here they come out and they beat UL Lafayette week 1. They lose to Arkansas. He doesn't really play much. Gets in a little bit more. Here has 18 throws and 2 rushes against Rice. Gets in against Texas Tech and has 5 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown running, 300 yards. Come out and they beat TCU, and then they play Oklahoma. So right now they are 4-1. Playing Oklahoma, he comes out, he goes 20 for 34, 388, 5 touchdowns. That is awesome. Got sacked a couple times there. You see he got sacked 4 times, but a 200 rating was not good enough to win that game, and it just never quite was good enough since. The next week, they play Oklahoma State, really stout defense, has a couple interceptions, a couple sacks, loses some yards. Come out here and they play Baylor, the eventual Big 12 champs, and he has a decent amount of stats here. 130 ratings, not great. 5 for 30, they lose that game. Then they play Iowa State. He comes out 2 for 6 for 2 yards, 2 carries for 2 yards, gets pulled. Comes out against Kansas, 30 for 43, 358, 6 touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 7 touchdowns, and they still lose. Got pulled against West Virginia and was able to come out and beat Kansas State, but at that point they were 5-7. So that's the big question I have right here. Can Casey Thompson come in for Adrian Martinez and be a successful quarterback? It looks like he's a pretty decent passer, got some ability to run the ball, but again, pretty decent, solid thrower of the ball. He's going to have a little bit of help on offense, but he's going to have a lot of help on defense. Let's go through a couple of those guys who are returning to the Huskers. First at running back is Remier Johnson. Gets about, what has he got? He's got about 600 yards rushing, 500 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns last season, so he steps in. Pretty solid running back. Then you see their top returning receiver, Omar Manning, 6'4", 225. Very, very solid. 26 catches for 380 yards, and then 2 receiving touchdowns. Remember, though, they just weren't a very dynamic passing offense. Then Trey Palmer, transfer from LSU, former 5-star receiver on one side. Didn't have the greatest season last season. He had, in 2021, he had 30 passes for 344 and 3 touchdowns. But again, like I said, former 5-star recruit coming out of Kentwood High School. If we can get him a quarterback that can get him the ball, things look up for Trey. Now, coming over to the defense, there is a lot more help on the defensive side of the ball for Casey Thompson. First, they have Caleb Tanner, comes back, had a career-high 33 tackles, career-high 5.5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks and 3 pass breakups, started all 12 games. Then Garrett Nelson on the other side, 6'4", 245, comes back as well. He's got 57 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, setting career highs in all of those, so he is coming back himself. Again, they got a transfer from TCU who's actually going to be coming off the bench. So again, their defensive line is going to be just fine. They've got plenty of edge rushers there. O'Shawn Mathis comes over in 2021, 45 tackles, 4 sacks, and 7 for loss. So again, they've got those 3 guys that can rotate in there. They're going to be pretty good on the edge. Also, they're going to have some big beef in the middle too. Big Ty Robinson, 6'6", 310 pounds, comes over. Now again, remember, defensive linemen don't necessarily put up the biggest stats here. You see the fact that he had 27 tackles, 4 for loss, and 2 sacks. His job is 6'6", 310. He's really, really long. Get out there and make sure that people are held at bay. He's going to be clogging up a lot of those run holes in there. And then the big guy too, Luke Raymer. I think Raymer, I don't know. But anyways, Luke Raymer, hometown Lincoln, Nebraska. Previous school, he was at North Star. He is the honorable mention all Big Ten returner. He is at a sophomore season. This is going to be his junior year. He is one that everybody's really, really excited about. He is a preseason Butkus Award watch list kind of guy. And then a big one too here, transfer over from Arizona State, okay, former top 200 recruit Tommy Hill, looks really good, wasn't able to put up a lot of stats with them, and they even said in that preview, they said he comes over from chaotic Arizona State. It is chaotic, comes over to the Big Ten, should be able to be an instant contributor. So like I said, I think they're going to be pretty solid. They look pretty good. Got a little bit of help on offense, got a lot of help on the defensive side of the ball. The only thing, they got a couple of returners on the offensive line. That's going to be potentially an issue for them. Like I said, defense, they're going to be in every game. They are very, very solid there. But what about their very first game? They come out and they play the Northwestern Wildcats. Let's have a quick preview of them real quick. So for the Wildcats down here, and again, it basically just states the fact that, first of all, their defense went from really, really good to really, really bad in one quick year. Did not do very well. They've got a couple of guys at quarterback. Nobody really noteworthy. However, I will let you know here. Okay, so Peter Skoronsky at offensive lineman, and then Ethan Whitaker, Charlie Schmidt, Colorado State transfer Vince Picozzi, and again, I'm telling you right now, up front offensive line, they are going to be an issue for Nebraska. They better get ready. And again, they talked here about that big slide under first-year coordinator Jim O'Neill, dropping from 5th nationally in points allowed in 2020 to 89th in 2021. That's really, really bad. They've got a couple options here at the defensive, backfield. They've got, Cameron Mitchell and AJ Hampton, and safety Coco Azema are experienced options, and Rod Hurd, the second, would likely be see as a 5th defensive back. So again, they got a Duke transfer, Jeremiah Lewis. They're going to have some decent options on the outside in terms of their defense. Up front, it's going to be a little bit different. So let's say they had to hit the transfer portal for the defensive line, Tyshawn Holmes, Remier Johnson, Henrik Barnt, and then they have Adetomiwa Edebawore. So again, you see they've got plenty of pass rushing help, but they must be able to stop the run better this fall. That is one of the big questions when they play Nebraska. If Nebraska is able to establish the run, they should be favored in this game, and they are currently, according to Vegas. So right now, and then this was Thursday, June 30th, and then we have Thursday, August 11th, August 15th, 18th, and we get on closer and closer to the game. We see the first things that start off here is that it was 12, and then 12.5, and then 13.5. So it looks like people were heavy picking the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Then a little bit closer, it was the 13, and then back here it was 11.5. So it looks like bettors early were picking Nebraska. Now that line was getting real favorable. A lot of bettors were picking Northwestern to cover. And keep in mind here, Pat Fitzgerald's a weird guy because he looks like he's been kind of alternating back and forth a little bit here. So you see the fact that he went 10-3, and then 9-5, and then 3-9, and then 7-2, and then 3-9. So this could be a bounce back year. Now, offensive line, they are going to be solid, but if we look at what happened last year, it looks like this Nebraska team is better, and what they did last year to this Northwestern team should be a good sign for Nebraska. So, this is what happened last season. Now, remember, this game is going to be in Ireland, and you're able to tell that. Again, I know this was not a good look for them, but Northwestern will at least have some drip. Northwestern football unveils sick new helmet for the Ireland game. Look at this helmet. That is freaking sweet. Look at, they got the Ireland logo in there. It's going to be pretty awesome. Like I said, in Aviva Stadium in Dublin, Ireland. It's going to be a huge game, especially to see, is this Nebraska team for real? That's the big question we have to ask there. If Scott Frost is not able to come out and get a win there, they only have 11 games to win 6. It's not looking necessarily good for the Nebraska Cornhuskers in that respect. So, again, get in the comments right now. Who do you think is going to win? What do you think the score is going to be? What's your projections for Nebraska this year? I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be a bowl team. But we will see. What do you guys think? Get in the comments right now. Let me know. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I appreciate it. I'll see you guys later. I am out.